This week, we will take a look at the performance stage. The performance stage is not reached by all groups. In this stage, people can work independently, in subgroups, or as a total unit in the group. Members adjust to the challenging needs of the group, and they adjust to the needs of each individual within the group. Characteristics in this stage includes members have become self-assuring, the need for group approval has passed, members are both highly task-oriented and highly people-oriented. So they're focused on their tasks, they're focused on the members in the group. There is unity in the group. The group identity is complete. Morale is high in the group. The group is loyal and they're intense in their works. The task function for this stage becomes problem solving. If there's a problem or issue that arises, the group will solve it and stop everything to focus on that. Support for experimentation and problem solving is achieved and is promoted during this period as well. So with the performance stage, you will use a variety of skills. So there are no steps in this stage, there are skills. But let's take a look at the main skills that you will use. The main skills in the performance stage are active listening, restating, clarifying, questioning, summarizing, and facilitating. We've already studied these skills, so I will not go in depth on each of them, but nonetheless, we'll just briefly give a definition of each so that you guys will be focused once again. Active listening. Active listening is a nonverbal skill in which the counselor shows body interest in order to communicate to the client that they hear and understand what that client is saying. So active listening is a nonverbal skill, basically 4 steps. You face the person, give them eye contact, lean forward, and avoid distractions. Active listening. Restating. Restating is a verbal skill in which the counselor captures the essence of what a client says, and repeat that back. It should not be verbatim. It should not be mechanical or a mechanical repeat. You just basically capture the main points and the main essence of what a person is saying, and that's what you restate back to them. This is also termed paraphrasing, but for this course, we call it restating. Clarifying. Clarifying is a skill used in order to get a clearer picture of what the client is saying by basically restating what the client says, followed with a question, is that correct or is that right? This allows a client to check you, and basically this skill allows you to, in essence, ask the client, are you on par with what they're saying? So clarifying is restating, followed with a question, is that right? Questioning. Questioning is the ability to ask an open-ended question that stimulates thought and action in the client. When used correctly, questioning will hide the counselor because it allows the group to process and discuss whatever the question is that the counselor asked. So you can ask a question, and basically it will hide you because you no longer have to say anything. The group then takes over and starts discussing, and before you know it, the session's almost over. Questioning. Be careful not to ask closing-ended questioning. Closing-ended questions are those that are just evoke a response of simple yes or no. Those go nowhere, and they do not provoke thoughts or actions. Questioning. Summarizing. Tying together loose ends and common themes at the end of a session, or when there's a transition between topics within a session. In your summary, you should provide the client with direction, with something to look forward to, or some type of task to do. So tying together loose ends and common themes within the session, summarizing everything that takes place, and pointing them in some type of direction. Summarizing. Facilitating. Facilitating is simply keeping things going. Be careful not to allow the group to stall. Have something to come up, have a different topic. This is a good point to ask a good question, open-ended question, to keep the group going. Facilitating in its rawest definition, keeping things going. Okay, so those are the 6 skills that are mainly used with or in the performance stage. So there are no steps, just simply know those skills. And then another thing to be aware of is what takes place during this time, because there's a lot of communication going on, is interpersonal communication. This is communicating between people. Interpersonal communication is the fuel to group work. As long as the members are communicating clearly and openly, it gets the members oriented, it keeps them focused, it gets the group work done. Interpersonal communication gets decisions made. As long as that communication stays open, it will also help group cooperation. Communication is a responsibility of every group member. I'll repeat that. Communication is a responsibility of every group member. So if you notice that there's a lack of communication or some issues are starting to arise, it is also part of your job to focus on that communication, to clear the atmosphere, and make sure everything is clear and concise for the group. So communication is a two-way street. Communication goes hand in hand with active listening. You have to be a good listener as a facilitator in order to be able to communicate appropriately with your clients. So let's take a look at some issues that could arise in communication. And as we talk about these issues or problems of communication, I want you guys to be aware that which of these are affecting you or will affect you as well. Be aware of the 6 problems of communication. Pseudo-listening. Pseudo-listening is basically your body is saying that you're there. Your body is saying that you're listening, so you're attending that client, but your mind is in Tahiti somewhere. It's on vacation. It's answering some kind of post. It's thinking about whatever took place in your life throughout the day, or whatever the last client that you saw talked about. Nonetheless, pseudo-listening is your body is stating that you're paying attention, but your mind is somewhere else. Pseudo-listening, be careful with that. Silent arguing. Silent arguing. As another group member speaks, you begin to prepare your objections or your disagreeing points to what they're saying. Think about when you're at home and you're having a conversation with your spouse or with your children. As they're talking or speaking, you are no longer listening to what they're saying. You start getting your arguments together. And that causes you to lose points or to lose focus of what they're saying and miss their main points. Silent arguing. Number 3, a simple one, premature replying. Premature replying. This is just simply interrupting the speaker. Whoever's talking and trying to make their points, you cut them off and interrupt them because you simply have gotten your argument together and you're ready to go. Premature replying. Misplaced focus. Misplaced focus is trying to understand the fundamental idea of what the speaker is saying, as opposed to trying to understand what the speaker is saying. You start nitpicking the minor details of what they're saying. An example of this will be you're at home, you're talking with your spouse about your child's behavior at school. And as opposed to sticking with and focusing on your child's behavior, one of you starts nitpicking what the teacher said or what another student is doing in class to provoke your child, misplacing that focus on someone else rather than that your responsibility or their responsibility. um, from a teacher's perspective, as opposed to you as a student taking up your responsibility of saying, I just didn't do the assignment correctly. This is the consequences. Students tend to say, oh, that teacher just doesn't like me and they're picking on me. Misplaced focus. You will see that with your clients quite a bit. Defensive listening. Defensive listening is simply you hear the speaker arguing even when they are fundamentally just explaining themselves. You start hearing an argument. You see this nowadays in politics quite a bit. It's all over the TV, and you will see this in your groups as well. Fundamentally, a person is simply going through and talking about the importance of recovery and what it takes for them to be successful in recovery. They need a facilitator or a licensed counselor that's going to listen to them, that's going to help them out. But mentally, you start hearing them saying you're not providing that to them. Defensive listening, you've got your arguments together, and so you start everything a person says, you start thinking that they're attacking you. And then finally, number 6 is forcing meaning. Forcing meaning. Basically, this is you are reading more into what the speaker is saying, or more than what is reasonably expected. Forcing meaning. You can just blowing things out of proportion is in layman's terms. Instead of just simply hearing what they're saying, you just take that and you just blow it out of proportion. It's horrible. It's all of a sudden the main issue, and it's been going on forever. Forcing meaning. Be careful with those, and be aware of those 6 problems of communication. I know of those 6, at least 3 you can probably place on yourself. So focus on those 3 in your life and correcting those, and that way you'll be able to help identify and deal with those as you're going through life, whether you're at work or whether you're in counseling or whether you're in class. Just as long as you're dealing with someone else, focus on your deficiencies in those areas, and that will allow you to better become a better communicator. So the 6 skills of performing: active listening, restating, clarifying, questioning, summarizing, and facilitating. Be sure you have a really good grasp on these. We will practice these in class in the upcoming week, and we'll see you guys soon.